Okay, so we just picked up our steering wheel. The steering wheel is from our partner, Aeroflex Performance. Please, if you guys want a discount on any of their products there for the Elantra N, please use code PolarBoostN, and that'll give you 5% off of your order. Now, the steering wheel itself, we did a little bit something different. So we did the airbag cover and the carbon cover over the buttons and the bottom piece as well. So in this video, we're gonna pretty much do a full breakdown and kind of tutorial on replacing the airbag cover itself and do the carbon fiber covers for the buttons as well, okay? Alrighty guys, let's get this done. Okay, so we've disconnected the battery from the car itself. So now we have to wait about 30 minutes for the power to be kind of done. So then it'll be safe for us to remove the airbag. Okay, so we're gonna start removing the airbag now. The power is now gone from the vehicle, so we're gonna start by removing the airbag. As you can hear, no horn, no lights, anything. I have a flashlight that's above me shining downward. So there's 3 holes on the back, and what we have to do is, hoping I can get this in there, which I can't. So do I have a stubbier kind of thing? Let me try this to see if this works. Okay, so that side just released there. Let's turn it all the way over to this side. Holy crap. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the hole in the back. That's that side. But now we have to do the bottom. So let's go like that. There we go. So the bottom one is just a push inward like that to release it at the hole. The 2 side ones, there's actually like kind of like a square hole for you to put a flathead in there and basically push a pin in, so then the airbag can then come outward like this. Now before we fully disengage that, let's turn the steering wheel back to, it's kind of straight. Kind of straight. There we go. So now let's pull this out, and then we can take a look, see at what's kind of going on underneath here. So there's a little tab that's holding the wires in. So let's just kind of bend that outward, and then it'll give us a little bit more slack, so that we can see kind of what it is that we're working with here. So right here, I'm gonna use this. We have our 2 airbag connectors right here. So what we're going to end up doing is then going to pop these off. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 flathead there, another one with my finger, get ready to catch the airbag. There we go. So that's that one. And then we're going to do this one here. So we're going to then pop that out. Oops. Probably be easier if I did it like this. Okay, I got my fingernail under on that side and this side. There we go. So now we're released. which is fantastic. Now this is our grounding wire right here. So we want to, or no, this is for the, ground. There we go. So that was our horn. So airbag is now out. So we will set that off to the side right there like so. And now we need to disconnect this wire. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to disconnect the camera here. Okay, so now we've removed our airbag. We removed the little connectors from the airbag, including the ground for the horn. So now what we have to do is we have to disconnect this piece, or this wire right here. If I can get it out. There we go. So this piece we've just disconnected right now. And then the airbag one we'll leave in. This one, we're gonna bring that out. So we gotta disconnect that there. So let's see what the size is. It may be a 21. From what I've read. So this is a 21, and that's it on the dot. Okay. So give me one moment. I'm gonna set this down. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we have our impact here. And we're going to take this off. There we go. A little bit louder than I hoped, but we got that. So now in here, there's always kind of your markings, right? So you can't screw it up, and that's exactly where the wheel belongs. So let's pop the wheel off for a second, and it should just come out nice and easy for you. If not, give it a little tap on the top and the bottom and the sides and help it kind of wiggle off of the splines. Alrighty, so this is our old steering wheel right here. So let's go upstairs, unbox the new steering wheel, and then transfer everything over from this one to the new one. Alrighty guys, see you in a minute. Alrighty, so as you can see, we have the new steering wheel and then we have our old one here, the OEM one. So what we have to do is we have to remove our airbag. The reason why I re-engaged the airbag here is I wanted to give you a more in-depth kind of view of the clips that you have to push in to release the airbag while it's off. So in that way, it might be a little bit easier for you to remove the airbag yourself. Then we have our new covers for the buttons right here and there. And then we have a new trim piece on the front end. So we actually have to remove our N emblem here at the bottom of the steering wheel and reattach it there at the bottom of the new trim piece. Okay, so to remove the airbag, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna flip it over, and then what you're gonna see here are these two square holes, one here, and then at the bottom, what we have is like a little hole right there, and we just poke through that one. Because essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to release this pin right here to then pop the airbag out. So if we go in here like so, and push in, I can cheat on that one, but as you just saw, it just popped right out. But that's what we're doing. We're pushing in these pins right here. We're pushing in these pins right here. So in that way, it'll release and the spring helps push out the airbag. Okay, so we're gonna be replacing the airbag cover on this one as well. So it looks like we're gonna have to be removing some of these clips that are here on the airbag because we're just comparing it to what we have here, right? So we're gonna have to take care of that, and then we can swap our airbag cover because we're going with, obviously, a new airbag cover. So, alrighty, let's move on to the next piece. So, as we can see, we have a few Phillips screws down here for the cover here, and then we have two Torx there. And on the inside, we also have a Phillips there, and then another Phillips right in there. So let's start disassembling this and then see how far we can get. Okay, so we're gonna start by removing screws. So we do have actually a new set of paddle shifters that are on their way, but they didn't arrive in time. So we're going to be making another video of new paddle shifters, magnetic ones, for the Elantra N and Kona N and Veloster N from Aeroflex Performance. Now this wheel completely was from Aeroflex Performance. It was super easy to get it all customized, specifically the way that I wanted it done, with the airbag cover and the white perforated leather with the performance blue stitching. So yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It was an amazing experience. It was super fast too. As soon as I ordered it, I think it took about maybe 3 weeks for manufacturing, and then it took like 2 to 3 days for it to get delivered. So super quick, very fast, and honestly, the quality is phenomenal. Again, if you guys wanted a steering wheel like this, like the new one, and you wanted it spec'd out a very specific way, reach out to Aeroflex Performance, and don't forget to use my discount code. It will be down in the link, it'll be down in the description below with the discount code and a link to his website. So now take this. It's gonna feel like you're gonna break it, but don't worry, it's not gonna break. If you just pry it out like that. What I do is I apply a little bit of pressure and then disconnect the cable there. Those connectors are going to be really, really tight, but with a little finesse, you can get them out. Alrighty, moving on to the next piece, which will be right here. Because we're going to getting there. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this here. See our wires. We're going to disconnect our buttons one at a time here. Reconnected on us. Don't want that. And this is our front piece. So we need to remove this end logo and we need to add it on the front of our new carbon one, which is identical, right? So we got to just add the piece from this one to this one. And it's just a Phillips screw at the bottom here. Taking out that screw. We're going to set aside our other piece. So this here is our little tiny end logo. And we're going to put that in this right here. And it'll give it like a nice compression fit first. And then we just have to apply that Phillips screw on the back. Okay, so now that we have that piece done, we can now set this piece aside. Okay, so I just had to grab this here. This is a T40 socket bit for our weight here at the bottom. So the reason why they have a weight is for the steering wheel to feel balanced. So now these are on with like a thread locker from factory. However, you will need a like a socket to get these off because they are in there. Okay, so there we go. We got our 2 bolts off, and now our weight should just pop off. There we go. A little sticky, but we got it off. So this piece here we got to put on the new steering wheel, but because the new steering wheel is white and I got a little bit of rust and some grease on my hands, I'm gonna wash my hands first. Then we can start transferring things over from this steering wheel to the new one. Now, one other thing too that I did notice is, now I purchased a heater, like heating core for the steering wheel because I want all the OEM functions. Now, one problem is though, is that on the new steering wheel, and I will show this, is they don't have a pin connector like this. What they have is they have, just the wires for it. Like, and the wires are just like, you know, laying around. So essentially what we're going to do is we are going to basically cut the wires off of this, and then we're gonna solder them onto the new like wires that are there. So then that way it stays OEM, right? So bear with me, we'll figure it out. But anyways, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back now. I am just going to be putting these back in for the weights. That's that one. There we go. So now, for now, let's move the steering wheel out of the way. And then let's focus on our airbag.
Those homemade pies sure look good.
Oh, these aren't homemade. They were made in a factory. A bomb factory. They're bombs.
Oh.
So, here. And final one. There we go. Okay, so get all these screwdrivers out of here. Okay, so now what we've done is we've released the clips at the top, which I did not see initially. So we have 4 clips at the top. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 clips total that you need to essentially work out of this. So then you can remove the cover. And then this here is our airbag. This is what the actual airbag looks like inside behind the cover. So we can see on the inside, they have like breakaway seams all right here. And it even says CN7N etched right in there. It's kind of hard to see if I can get that light to shine just nicely on it, but anyways. Okay, so our old airbag cover, this is our new airbag cover. And we can actually see all the clips here, even the ones at the top there. So these clips all look good. So now, if I bring it all in, and now let's double check everything before we really apply. Okay, so we have our inside there and our inside right here. So it all looks good. All looks the same. Okie dokie. So let's carry on. So this is our new airbag cover. And we're going to slide it down nice and easy. And then we're going to start to clip it in. So We're gonna work our way around, pick a side, any side. And it definitely goes on way easier than it does to take it off. Okay. There we go. So we are still going around. It's good just to double check everything. Alrighty, so that there is our new airbag. It's a nice white leather, looks great. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next piece, which are gonna be the button covers. So let's do that. Okay, so I am back and I did some discovery. Alrighty, so on the factory Elantra and Canadian version anyways, we have a heated steering wheel, like heated core. Now, when I wanted the steering wheel, I wanted it OEM with the heater core, so in that way it'll work properly. Like, will work like OEM, right? So this is the connector off of the original steering wheel itself. I don't know if you can see that. All right, so, but I took it off, so in that way I can solder the new wires right here to the connector and plug it into the OEM harness that's on the like the clock spring, I guess. So anyways, this is how it's gonna work. I've already put together a page right here, kind of like a diagram. I'll take a screenshot of this or scan it, I guess, and then I'll put it in the video as well, so in that way you guys can see it like clearer. But anyways, to basically run it through is looking at the plug facing you like this. We have yellow right here, which is our positive, and then the one right next to it on the same level is the black, which is the ground. Now underneath is where it starts to get a little interesting. So underneath we have a black and a red. Now the red one is our temperature positive, and then the black one there is our temperature negative. Now it does go into a computer itself, so in that way it can regulate the temperature. Now, with speaking with an actual technician that works for Hyundai, they're not too sure if they can be reversed or not, because on the new wiring right here, we don't have a positive or a negative for the temperature. All we have is the positive and then the ground there, which is fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to solder it to these connectors right here. And then that way, because if they're incorrect, the heated steering wheel will not work at all. But what we can do is, because we're using the connector here, we can actually de-pin the connector and then swap them afterwards to confirm if it's going to work or not. So anyways, I digress. So we're going to then solder it like this right here. Hopefully it's right the first time. If not, then we'll just take apart the airbag, like take out the airbag again, and then redo the pin and then put it back in, and then it'll work. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have taken care of the hard part. So what I do need to do is I need to get some electrical tape and then wrap it up. But we will do that once we take it back downstairs and we'll test the heater core. So anyways, let's continue. Alrighty guys, we're back. We just finished prepping our steering wheel. We've got our buttons in. We've wired up that heating steering wheel core right there. It's kind of hard to see. And then we've done our carbon fiber overlay on the buttons and then the bottom spline right there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna feed in our wires, our airbag wires through the top, and then pull back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to line this up right here with the 3 red lines, right? And once we do that, before we really press it in, we want to make sure that our clock spring, the connector is free there, so it's not going to get hit by the steering wheel. So then what we're going to do is we're going to just wiggle it and get it There we go. So now the steering wheel is in. Now what we can do is we can take our bolt. Oops. Just fix the camera there. So now what we're going to do is we got our bolt, and we're going to put our bolt right in here. We're going to start threading it just a bit. So now that we know that it's got some thread, we're good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our steering wheel harness into the clock spring. So we're going to push until we hear that click, like that. So now that that's done, we got to secure our steering wheel. So I have a impact here, and it is going to be set to 2. And then we're just going to ugga-dugga it on. And now that is on, now we can move on to our airbag. Move that over there. So our new airbag has been all prepped. Well, it's the original airbag, but we replaced the cover, right? So we can see that all the clips, everything are engaged on it. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to hold the airbag like this. We're gonna take our one plug right here, and we are going to, sorry, just trying to, there we go. One, and then, now these clips can only go in one way, but click, and then click. We're going to just slightly rotate like that. And now that we've rotated, there's a little hanger there. You'll see it, that will just hold on to the excess wire. And now comes the fun part. So we need to guide our airbag in first. They always make it look so easy. But because of the carbon fiber button covers, your hole becomes a little bit tighter. So, with that said, let's guide it in. See, there we go. So it is quite literally a perfect fit. It is as tight as it can be. Now what we're going to do is we've made sure that everything is all plugged in and secured. We can feel the connectors. We know that the airbag is secured. We know that the steering wheel harness itself is now plugged in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it in, and then we're going to push. And now we know that it's all secured and it's in there. So that there is how you install Aeroflex's custom steering wheel with the airbag cover and button overlays and the bottom part as well. Now let's get it tested as well to see if the heated steering wheel does work. Alrighty, so we're back. So we just plugged in the battery. As we can see with the ambient blue lighting right there, we have power. So let's start the car. So the car starts. Okay. Buttons all work. Okay, so everything works there. Now I'm going to turn on the heated steering wheel button. I'm going to feel to see if it starts to warm up. Wow, that is quick. I can already feel the heated grips already heating up. That is super impressive. That is way faster than the OEM one heats up, honestly. Well guys, that's it. That's our installation video for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I would really appreciate a subscribe or even a like on the video. But stay tuned for more stuff that's happening this year. We're going to be actually getting the magnetic paddle shifters from Aeroflex Performance. They're the new design. So stay tuned for that video. We should be getting them in probably the next week or so, but we'll make a video on that as well. All right, guys, take care. Bye.